Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. You and me, Sarit and Stevie K. Okay, so today we're doing something different. A lot of you have been requesting for this, and it is Geography Now, India.
I've just realised that I'm wearing orange and you wearing green.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, we more or less just need the white and...
Or black. We've got the black. I had a little goatee here somewhere.
And we've got the whole flag going here.
Oh, my hair's black anyway, so...
We've got the India flag going, so...
That's true.
So hey, we've got the right colours for the right video. Don't know what it's about. I don't know if it's a comedy sketch. I don't know, like you guys who are on our channel already know that we don't do the research. We rather see how it is and just react naturally and honestly instead of find out, oh, it's a funny thing, so we already prepare ourselves to laugh or, you know, no. So don't know if it's comedy sketch. Don't know if it's actually educating us about stuff. Not watched any of Geography Now's videos before, but so this is our first as well. It was made in 2017, but what we're going to do is just watch this and see what it's like. Yeah, bear with us. It's going to take a while though. So here we go.
Oh, it's a long video.
So we have finally encroached upon the giant India. Some of you have been waiting a long time for this episode. I'm just going to say straight up, you all know India is incredibly complex and diverse. Even Indians have trouble understanding their own country. Obviously, I won't be able to scratch even the surface in this episode, but I'll try my best. A lot of you Indian geography peeps have helped me along the way, so thank you. And without further ado, let's begin.
I thought it'd be an Indian person doing it.
It's time to learn geography now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. This place doesn't even need much of an introduction. Everybody has heard of India. It's big, it's loud, it's colorful, and most importantly, it has a plethora of confusing territorial anomalies that I just can't wait to cover. Here we go. There's an old saying, India is a place where everyone is in a hurry, but no one is ever on time. First of all, India is located in South Asia, right on the Indian and Arabian Seas and the Bay of Bengal, bordered by 6 other countries, so close to 7, but that land bridge between Sri Lanka got wiped away like 600 years ago by a cyclone. India is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories, with the capital New Delhi, which acts as its own administrative unit, located in the capital territory. Keep in mind, New Delhi is actually just the name of one of the districts in the capital territory, made up of 11. The largest city, however, is actually Mumbai, with New Delhi, Bangalore, or Bengaluru, and Hyderabad following after. However, the 4 busiest airports are Delhi Indira Gandhi International, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji International, Bengaluru's Kempe Gowda International, and Chennai International in the south. You know why I'm smiling. This is my favorite part of any episode we ever make. Territorial anomaly time. India is loaded with strange borders and deliciously complex demarcation lines. First of all, what exactly is a union territory? In the simplest way I can put this, union territories are places that are too distinct to be incorporated into a state, but too small to have their own local governments. The first one, of course, is the Delhi National Capital Territory, where the capital lies. Chandigarh is a post-independent city constructed to replace Lahore as the capital of the Punjab area after it was split up between India and Pakistan. Then you have the island territories, the smallest one, Lakshadweep, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman Islands being home to one of the last uncontacted people groups on the planet, the Sentinelese tribe, whom have been hostile to visitors and are therefore left alone, as well as the Nicobar Islands, which actually used to be a short-lived colony of Denmark. Finally, the 3 remaining territories are former European colony towns and ports. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, which are separated by about 200 kilometers across the Gulf of Khambat, and the most confusing union territory, the French-speaking Puducherry, which is actually split between 4 district cities across India: Karikal, Mahe, Yanaon, and Pondicherry. Pondicherry is strange because it has 11 enclaves within the Tamil Nadu state. And in this area, you can also find the experimental hippie-ish commune with a link to controversy. Look it up. And don't forget, here, the eastern states, also known as the 7 Sisters, are connected by this incredibly narrow 27-kilometer wide pathway known as the Siliguri Corridor. This pathway is like a crucial artery that completes the India puzzle, or so you would think. Now let's discuss the juicy stuff. Now in the China episode, I already talked about the disputed areas with India, such as Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, the latter pretty much just belonging to India as it's almost completely inhabited and operated by Indians. So let's move to the other disputes. Now, as of 2015, the Bangladesh episode is already outdated, as India and Bangladesh have finally come to an agreement over the frighteningly complex former enclave-exclave dispute. In the end, India only lost about 40 square kilometers of land to Bangladesh, and now only a few enclaves and exclaves exist. Now let's head Now, when you try to draw the shape of India, you might want to be careful which depiction you use. Some might use this picture, some might use this, some might use this, and those that don't really study very well might use this. The point is, the whole area is like the most heavily militarized, diplomatically stressed out region on the planet. It's already had like 4 wars in the past half century. Basically, India, Pakistan, and to some extent China all want the entire area for themselves, although it's more of like a Pakistan-India thing. In the China episode, we already discussed the Chinese disputes with India, so I won't cover those in this episode. If you want to learn more, just watch the China episode. But anyway, this entire area was a a former domain known as the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir that was under royal Maharaja rulers all the way up until independence. Currently, this place is split up by this fenced-off militarized line known as the line of control between India and Pakistan. Why is this? Well, in the quickest way I can put this,
Okay, the British are out. We get to take your land.
no, we want to be an independent princely state.
We're supposed to take your land, and majority of your people are Muslim, just like us, even though your ruler is Hindu as well.
Hey, India? Yeah. If you help me, I'll let you secede my territory to your land with autonomy. Deal. Ha! Your problem now! I love how Mike played India. He totally represents India. Oh, and keep in mind, Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, is less than 80 kilometers away from all that drama. The line of control meanders
So
through the mountains
close.
until it stops at a point called NJ9842. This is where things get really crazy, because from there you hit the Siachen Glacier, the second longest non-polar glacier in the world, and this is pretty much the dead man zone. After point NJ9842, you hit the actual ground position line, a series of military outposts that extend all the way to the Chinese border. That means everything in this area is ground zero for the Indo-Pak tension. And you know, the crazy thing is there's actually literally small towns of normal, regular civilians living in these areas high up in the mountains, many of which just go about daily life, going to work and raising their families. Otherwise, they have a river dispute with Nepal and various river islands disputed with Bangladesh. Outside of all the dispute stuff though, India not only has the world's second largest road network and 3 of the world's top 10 megacities and their own space program, but they also have a copious abundance of landmarks and notable sites, way too many to list, but some of the ones that you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have told me to mention include places like the abandoned Danush Kodi Ghost City, Golconda Fort, the 4 pillars of Charminar, the Ajanta Buddhist Art Caves, the Ellora Monolithic Ruins, Mandu Fortress, the Golden Temple, which feeds over 100,000 people a day, the Gol Gumbaz Mausoleum, the Kalabantin Durg Post, the ruins of Hampi, the hill forts of Rajasthan, Shatrunjaya Hill, which is basically like a mecca for Jains, the Temple of the Bodhi Tree, Jal Mahal, Bangad Fort, the most haunted place in India, Mahabat Maqbara, and keep in mind, just like in China, you can find a Great Wall of India in Rajsaman. There's also the Paritala Anjaneya Temple with the largest statue in India depicting Hanuman, and at over 150 acres, the Sri Rangan Attaswamy Temple, the largest Hindu temple in the world. Oh yeah, and there's also that building with the stone thing, whatever. Anyway, we could go on for centuries talking about India's rich constructed down south, but what it lies on top of is even more fascinating.
That is amazing. Just
Now, don't make this mistake.
I'm going to India. All I need are my sandals and sunscreen.
Oh, crap. Now, as the 7th largest country in land area, India has a wide range of landscapes, climates, and elevations that all contrast from one corner to the other. First of all, let's talk about the north. India sits on the Indian tectonic plate that essentially smashed into the Eurasian plate, which in return created the largest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas. The force is so strong that it's estimated that the Himalayas grow about 2.4 inches or 6.1 centimeters every year. There's also where you can find Kanchenjunga, the tallest mountain in India, or the 3rd in the world, right on the border of Nepal. Keep your eye on these mountains. These are pretty much the source of most of India's major rivers that give life to the whole country. That's why India takes these mountains so seriously. You can also find the largest natural lake, Wular, up in the Jammu Kashmir area. Below the Himalayas, you reach the North Indian River Plain, sometimes referred to as the Indus Ganga. This is the most fertile part of India where the most important rivers like the Ganges and its tributaries flow. Heading a little south, you reach the Satpura and Vindhya ranges that pretty much divide North India from South India. On each side, you get the West and East Ghat Mountains, which in return creates this massive triangle thing called the Deccan Plateau. This place is moderately forest, especially in the east in the Chotra Nagpur Plateau, where you get a section of the swampy Sundarbans that they share with Bangladesh. Check out the Bangladesh episode. Head a little west and you get the dry Thar Desert along the border with Pakistan, as well as the Rann of Kutch, known as the Salt Desert. And finally, the only active volcanic area would be the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with Barren Island having actual conical eruptions and Bharatan having tame mud volcanoes. Now here's the thing, although India has a relatively high population density, they do relatively well with maintaining their ecological footing. In fact, in 2016, they beat a world record by planting, disputably, 50 million trees in one day. They've also agreed to reforest about 12% of their country by 2030. The most heavily forested area being the 7 sister states in East India. Now, one of the factors that contributes to this would be the fact that India has the lowest meat consumption in the world, with the highest population percentage of vegetarians at around 40%, most of whom are lacto-vegetarians that consume milk products. By the way, in India, when buying groceries, this label means vegetarian and this one means not vegetarian. Nonetheless, the remainder of the population does typically eat some kind of animal protein, mostly in the forms of seafood or chicken, but almost never beef or pork unless if you are part of the Muslim or Christian minorities scattered throughout the west and east areas. Now, let's talk about the role of cattle, shall we? India has more cattle and livestock than anywhere else in the world at around 330 million. And it's interesting because since they have prevalent Hindu traditions, the killing of cows is illegal in many of the states except for a few, and each state has varying degrees of punishment for committing intentional cow slaughter. Keyword intentional. Cows accidentally get hit by cars all the time. Once a cow is too old to produce milk, it typically is released into the open to die naturally in the wild, ideally. Nonetheless, male cattle get it much worse, as they are deemed as kind of useless Some places use them as draft animals for labor. Some religious sects use them as sacrifices. But otherwise, they are typically sold to the underground market for beef or hides. To this day, there are about 6 times as many female cows as male cattle in India. So that means, yeah, something's happening to the males. Nonetheless, India does have the 3rd highest carbon emission rate after China and the US, 4th if you consider the EU. However, emission per capita, they rank pretty low at only about 2 kilotons per person. Contrast that with Qatar at about 40. There are 94 national parks, 501 animal sanctuaries across the country where you can find some of the national animals like the peacock, the Ganges River dolphin, the king cobra, the Indian elephant, and the highest population of Bengal tigers in the world, which are all highly protected. India also has the most irrigated land in the world, which allows them to become the #1 producer of multiple products like millet, bananas, lemons, limes, mangoes, ginger, chickpeas, milk, butter, fennel, jute, and about 75% of the world's spices alone come from India. Speaking of which, food! Typically you can find the staples roti, chapati, and naan in the north, idli and dosa in the south, and everybody eats rice. The more commonly commercialized Indian foods that we in the West grew up knowing, like samosas, tikka masala, tandooris, and my favorite Indian dish, palak paneer!
Oh,
These
yes.
usually come from the northern
Favorite.
regions of India. Seriously, India, you took spinach and made it fat. I love you guys. Otherwise, the West is mostly known for their chutneys and pickled foods, as well as beef, since there's a high number of Muslims and Christians. The South uses a lot more coconut and has some of the best curries like porials, sambras, rasams, and tutus. And the East is known for having the best desserts like peda, mishti doi, rasgulla, or shondesh. Speaking of which, India is so diverse and complex that sometimes even Indian people need translators when going to different states.
Yeah.
It's about to get 10 times more confusing in about 3. Shashti Tharoor once said, "In India, we celebrate the commonality of major differences. We are a land of belonging rather than blood." First of all, India has a population of about 1.3 billion people and is the 2nd most populous country in the world after China, with about 18% of the world's population. About 72% of the country is Indo-Aryan and a quarter are Dravidian, and the majority of the remainder are Mongoloid, Asian, and other people groups. They also use the Indian rupee as their currency. They use the type C, D, and M plug outlets, and they drive on the left side of the road. By the way, technically it's illegal for these banknotes to leave the country, but you guys have sent me a lot of them for fan mail for Fan Friday.
Really?
I don't want to go to jail. Again. Now keep in mind, those statistics that I just mentioned are incredibly generalized. Of the Indo-Aryan and Dravidian communities, there are about 2,000 different ethno-linguistic people groups in India, with about 645 district indigenous tribes, 52 major ones. So obviously we can't cover them all, but what we do know is that the North is very different from the South. For one, the North mostly speaks in languages that are all related to the Indo-Aryan branch, with languages like Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and Gujarati, whereas the South speaks a completely unintelligible Dravidian branch, with languages like Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, and Kannada.
Canada.
Otherwise, there's also pockets of Sino-Tibetan and Austroasiatic languages spoken in the far north and east.
Wait, so how do they all, like, communicate with each other?
Great question. Although India does not have an official language, there are 22 recognized national languages, and of these, 2 are the most prevalent, taught in schools and used by government officials, Hindi and English. And very often these 2 are like mixed mid-sentence. It's weird. Don't be surprised if you hear someone speaking Hindi and then suddenly finishing off in English. It's like,
It's not good to speak, it's worse. And I was like, what? And I was like trying to, like, why are you even trying to do that?
I know, right? And the washing machine, I
That's
told them,
awesome.
a Bob Saget with a chainsaw. Now, of course, let's discuss the one thing that goes hand in hand with Hinduism.
I do.
About 80% of India claims to be Hindu, or at least part of the Hindu practicing community. Now, we don't have time to explain everything about the tenets and multi-layered philosophies and practices of Hinduism. If you want to know, just talk to a Hindu person. But basically, one thing you do need to know is that Hindu-driven ideologies pretty much dominate most of life in India, everything from family to business. You will see colorful, mesmerizing shrines, temples, statues, and rituals being performed everywhere, even in public. On the Bharat Mata, the mother of India, statues are everywhere. She's like the symbol of India. The largest Hindu pilgrimage, the Kumbh Mela, happens every 3 years, rotating between 4 cities, in which the adherents bathe in the Ganges River and enjoy a massive festival with tens of millions of people. Like, seriously, you can practically see it happening from space. Now, a controversial topic in relation to Hinduism would be the caste system, which is basically a belief that people are born into a socioeconomic life that they are destined to serve into. Today, however, the system is more fluid and loose from what it used to be from a long time ago, and thanks to economic reforms, anybody with enough drive can kind of move up the social ladder regardless of birth. Nonetheless, India is home to every major religion in the world, even a few Jews, including the B'nai Menashe, an indigenous group that claimed to be one of the lost tribes of Israel. In fact, Judaism and Christianity actually had a head start in India way before it even kicked off in Europe. As tradition holds, Cochin, or Malabar Jews, migrated around 1000 BC to trade during the times of King Solomon, and in 53 AD, Thomas, the apostle of Jesus, arrived in what is now the state of Kerala to establish the first church in India. Today, most Christians are found in the southwest and far east Seven Sisters regions. India also holds the highest population of Sikhs, Sikhs, Jains, and Zoroastrians, mostly found in the north, and the second largest Muslim population in the world after Indonesia. Most Muslims are populated around the northwest areas by Pakistan or in the east by Bangladesh. Oh, and don't forget the Buddhists. In fact, Buddhism actually started in India. Today, the Dalai Lama even takes refuge in Tezpur in the state of Assam. Oh, that was a lot of information. So by now you can probably get a grasp of how incredibly mixed and diversified India's population is, but what exactly holds the country together? Well, for one, you kind of have to understand Indian history, which will take way too long to explain, but in the quickest way I can put it, Indus Valley, Maurya and Gupta empires, southern empires, Golden Age, Middle Kingdoms, a ton of new religions come flocking in, the north fell to the Delhi Sultanate, the south became the Vijayanagara Empire, the Mughal Empire starts, British East India Company, direct British rule, nationalist movements, independence, republic, economic liberalization in 1991, and here we are today.
Vagina.
Essentially, India used to be made up of around 500 smaller royal princely states, and when the British came in, they kind of exploited them to manage such a huge population. Although India is a democratic federal republic and the largest democracy in the world, the old royal families still exist today, and although they have no political power, they hold high positions of influence in their communities across India. So today, technically, you could meet someone that would be considered an Indian prince or princess. Nonetheless, the biggest thing that really united Indians in the past 2 centuries would probably be their hatred of British rule. It was kind of like,
Well, this is not cool.
yep.
What do you say you and I work together and end this thing?
Actually, one good thing you could say that came out of imperialism was that it kind of stopped all the internal squabbling and unified the groups towards one common goal, to get rid of imperialism. Today, Indians are just proud to be Indian. I mean, a Tamil soccer player can get cheered on by a Rajasthani, a Punjabi pop star can sell out tickets in Orissa. Speaking of which, all Indians love movies and music.
Yeah.
India has the second largest film industry in terms of volume, pumping out nearly 2,000 films per year. Surprisingly, Nigeria pumps out more. However, box office revenues gross out at only about $2 billion annually compared to Hollywood at over 10 billion. But still, it's impressive. And keep in mind, it's not just Bollywood, but it's also Tollywood, Gollywood, Collywood, Pollywood, and so on. There's like 20 different woods in India. Like every movie in India has at least one scene where everybody breaks out in song, and there's almost always a happy ending. Unfortunately, mainstream media has also put an aesthetic strain on many of the people, as it's almost become an obsession to be light or fair-skinned, causing people to go so far as to buy skin bleaching products. Some other controversies include things like illiteracy being an issue in many parts of the country, especially in the rural areas. But I mean, come on, when your country has literally hundreds of different writing systems, go figure. I mean, give them a break. Also, many of you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have asked me to bring awareness to the fact that India does unfortunately have some of the highest rates of human trafficking and child slavery. The government is trying to crack down and culture is slowly being reformed, but for now, it's a sad reality that still does exist. Hey, here at GN, we talk about the good and the bad. I'm just saying. Otherwise, sports do definitely tie everyone together as well, especially cricket, the national sport, even though they also used to do really well in field hockey. India also has a lot of their own indigenous sports like Dopkel in Assam, bull racing in Kerala, Insuknar, rod pushing in Mizoram, and Malakamba, the strange pole yoga gymnastics thing in the south. Otherwise, some notable people from India or of Indian descent might include people like Siddhartha Gautama or the Buddha, Mahavir, Ashoka the Great, Prithviraj Chauhan, Aurangzeb, Shivaji of the Maratha Empire, Mohandas or Mahatma Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Rabindranath Tagore, C.V. Raman, Satyendra Nath Bose, Bhagat Singh, Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Priyana Chopra, Ben Kingsley, Sundar Pichai, Satya Narayana Nadella, A.R. Rahman, Sachin Tendulkar, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. There's also literally millions of other famous people I missed out on. If you want to mention them, please, there's a comment section below. Use it. In the meantime, we gotta finish this info marathon, shall we?
Look at that, that was a lot. They got football and kabaddi as
No
well.
surprise, India is huge and therefore has a huge international outreach when it comes to diplomacy to almost everyone, except their immediate neighbors. First of all, countries with large population percentages of Hindus and Indians like Fiji, Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Mauritius, and Malaysia typically stay close to India's roster of go-to friends. They enjoy cordial relations with trade. Now, the UK may have left on a sour note, but they still have a lot of ties to their former colonizer in terms of business and tourism. India is still part of the Commonwealth, not Commonwealth realm, there's a difference, and the UK has over 1.5 million citizens of Indian descent. As mentioned in the China episode, China is kind of like India's I'm only here to do business with you and nothing else friend, as drama still hasn't subsided in regards to the territory conflicts. Now, when it comes to the US, things started kind of sour back in the 70s during the Indo-Pak War of 1971, when the US sided with Pakistan, their arch nemesis. Today, relations have cooled off. Mostly, the US supports India's move towards democracy and is a key ally in the military conflicts in the Middle East. When it comes to their best friends, however, most of the Indians I talked to have said Russia and Bhutan. Russia because during the Indo-Pak Wars, Russia came in and supported them, and ever since then, each country has held a high position of respect for the other, especially as global superpowers. Bhutan and India India signed a treaty of friendship almost immediately after independence. The two countries have shared interests and a currency-pegged system as well. Bhutan even supported the annexation of their cousins in the Sikkim state into India as it gave a nice buffer of land from China's stake to their claim. In conclusion, you will not find anywhere else on Earth like India. Thousands and millions of people inhabiting a colorful, majestic, green, slightly greedy at times slab of Earth, blessed and cursed in so many ways, yet wonderfully harmonized, mostly in a unity unlike anywhere else. In the end, that's India. Stay tuned, Indonesia is coming up next.
Whoa!
Wow.
Okay, let's go. Oh,
It
whoa.
was so fast. I know I mentioned that a few times, but to keep up with everything,
I think I was losing breath.
I know.
I don't know. But I can understand why, because
So much to get out there.
there's so much information. Obviously, he had to condense it. So, but yeah, he did it in an entertaining way. I mean, he wasn't. There's times he put some funniness in there.
Yeah.
He tried to grab the attention, but like you said, it was like trying to
I think
educate you
for
so
me,
much.
it was the important thing at the beginning where he was showing the map and all the divides and whatever else. That part it just seemed so much more quicker, and that's what you probably would have wanted to know about.
I think that's why he probably started on that.
To get it out.
But there's, like you said, there's so much information. There's so much that we didn't know. I mean, so many places that they showed that was totally different. I mean, we know majority of the stuff, like, you know, what you eat and what you don't eat, you know, more left and north and the south and stuff like that.
Eating, yeah, especially with
but
the cows and stuff.
yeah.
That's one thing you just everyone knows about, especially if you've been to India.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's like here, even being in this country, it's like, it's strange, but I don't eat beef, do I? So
Don't
it's
eat.
like I'm not ever, it's not my,
When I first went to India,
oh,
I was shocked because they're like, we go shopping and they're just everywhere, walking
What,
around
cows?
like cow,
Yeah.
walking around everywhere. And I was like, okay, we got used to it and it was nice.
I
It's
think
kind of those kind of things you kind of do miss. 'cause
I think
it's not- yeah, you don't.
I wasn't, maybe because I went young, it didn't feel strange to me. I think the only thing when I went to India every time, it's the thing that makes it different, and it's how everyone copes with the horns beeping.
Yeah.
And
So that one
it was
thing
like
they say,
continuous. I was like going,
there's-
whoa.
they're just in a rush to get somewhere, but they've got nowhere to go.
And-
So
and-
where are they going?
And that's what, when we were there, many people who would drive us about, I mean, we had to find the right driver for us. But first, the drivers that we had, they thought what classes them as the best driver is getting from A to B as fast as they can. And they were driving and people were getting hit, and not by our car, but you could just see. And he was like, all conversations they would have is, I done that
In this
route
much time.
in this much time. And he was like, you know, and you're standing there and you're holding your kids back going, But then you got the white ones who are like, no, it's not about getting there fast. That doesn't make you a great driver. It's about getting there safely and, you know, just taking your time.
It's not even about cars itself. It's also like a rickshaw. The first time I went, I was on a rickshaw and we were in the town, and it was like such a bead, you couldn't get through it all. And this guy,
it's good how you chucked in an Indian word in like English.
Exactly.
English. There's such a beard in there.
This doesn't mean so. I am like that person who mentioned you speaking Indian and then you revert to
No,
English.
you're talking
I do
English.
that a
You're
lot.
talking English. And
I
go,
do.
there's such a beard in
Right,
there.
the other way round.
There was such a beard in there.
Okay, it was so
Okay.
busy.
No, why don't you just fully speak in
I
Indian?
don't know why. I don't know. I do it.
Yeah,
just
but both beards, see?
we just generally do it anyway, don't you? We do here.
Anyway,
I do.
yeah.
Yeah, so shopping, and I was on a rickshaw with our cousin, and he was just trying his best to get through. I'm like, what the hell? He banged into the one in front of us. I went flying off. I was on the floor, like literally people were trampling all over me. I was like, what the hell? That was my first experience in India, going to town.
I mean,
I fell off the rickshaw.
like I said, it didn't, nothing like having the cattle walking around, that didn't bother me. I actually found
it
it,
was
I think
lovely.
just like we
It was
love
just-
cows and stuff,
'cause
I found it fascinating. I was like, oh my god, cars are going and there's animals just walking
You get
around
scared,
and like,
oh my
this
god,
is
they're gonna
like
get knocked
really good.
over or something. But
Yeah.
obviously they're not stupid anyway.
But
People stop.
I think the only time I was a bit surprised was when we went to Goa. And we're lying on the beach,
On the beach,
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden cows are just
Walk
walking
on.
by. I was like, going, okay, now this was a bit different.
For me,
And they were just like in the water, just lying there. I'm like going, this is quite wow.
For me,
I've not been to a
one
beach
thing I
in
do
town.
remember is driving past. It was, I don't know where we were coming from. It was many years ago. It's the first time I went. We're driving past. We were come back from somewhere and seeing this big open field, and it was a fire going. I was thinking, what's going on there? And it was was a lot of dead cattle, cows. They just set them on fire in the middle of nowhere, and that kind of did this. It did kind of upset me because
Great thing to talk about first thing.
I know, but those are kind of
Very
things
early here.
those are kind of things we remember from going. So because this doesn't happen here, so the things that stay with you, like, you know. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, all the way there. My granddad was like, just stop talking about it now. We're not going to talk about it. It's what happens here. It's different. I was like, okay.
In my life,
But
it's
it was
slightly different. We stayed on our farm. My dad got me a horse.
We
and I was
travelled,
riding
absolutely
around.
travelled everywhere.
Thinking,
When I've been to
fantastic.
India, it's been amazing because I have got to see lovely temples. I have been to my family lives in Chandigarh. I have been to Shimla, so I've been to the mountains. I've seen the border. I've done a lot, so it's lovely, and I would like to do it again because obviously I was in my teens then, and now, you know, I think I did appreciate it, but I don't think as much as I probably would now. So it's something I definitely would like to do again. So we need to do this, like you've mentioned before, get a backpack,
Yeah,
travel.
yeah.
But like that guy said, get chapla. You know, you need a sun cream chapla. No, you need a fair few chapla or some trainers.
Last time we went
my
to India together, we were
shoes,
freezing. We were.
my shoes, each shoe I had taken to India, either the heel came off, obviously weddings, whatever. The floors are not so, you know, cobble and whatever. My chapla had broken. Many of my chapla had broken. So you need a fair few shoes, but get them there where you're there. It's cheaper. You don't waste your money here and get them from here. But we need
There
to
you
do
go.
that.
But like I said, I mean, looking at the places that they have, we haven't even.
Touched.
Well, let alone that, I wasn't even aware. Like even being here, yeah, you see the Taj Mahal. We've been to, you know, but you haven't seen half of those things, or they're not even mentioned here at all. So to see those and this person like fitting them in, I just was wowed by the architecture and the way that they were, and they weren't different. I mean, they weren't the same. They were all different. And I've seen different places. It'd probably take you flights or
Definitely,
long,
of
massive
course,
trains
yeah.
to get to each and every one. It's not something that you'll be able to do in one, you know, visit. But I was like saying, I've said this before. One thing about this channel is it's basically connecting to our roots, and you know,
That's such lovely people already.
yeah.
as well.
So much we've, you know, like being in the UK for all this time, it's more or less like not understanding. Our parents, when we have been to India, and we have been several times, they take us to the places that only they know. Even they haven't ventured out of, you know, like Punjab and stuff like that. You'll be at Delhi, you go to Chandigarh, you go Amritsar,
That's it.
Jalandhar and stuff like that. And we've never ventured more than that. I know you've
Right.
ventured a little bit,
Yeah.
yes, you have, but still not like, you know,
No.
oh yeah,
There's nothing
okay,
so much,
she's been to Shimla, whoa, okay. I mean, you haven't ventured.
Yes, I know. I have.
But you know, but you're acting like, well, I've gone one place extra to you, so therefore I have ventured.
I've been to a fair few more places than
Okay.
you. Okay, I get it. There's so much. See, yes, I know.
Have you been to Mumbai?
No,
Okay. Have you been to, you know, South India?
no.
Any place?
I'd love to go to South India as well. Obviously, I haven't been. I've been like, other than like you said, it's true.
You've still just been
You've
around. Where you been around?
One thing I would like to ask is, there's one place I've been to was called the Bakra Dam. I want to know where that is because I can't remember, but we'd visited that and it's remained in my head. I've always remembered the name and I don't know where it is. So something, if any one of you guys know where that actually is, because I can't even, can't ask people anymore, but I would like to know where that is because I'd like to go back there as well.
But I would say the best thing that I've always liked about India is obviously the food.
Oh God!
And
don't get
I
me
think I mentioned
started.
it on other videos. But there's still even that. When he was mentioning food, oh my god, my mouth's watering. And it's only very early in the morning, so it's breakfast time. But it's like, you know, I want something. And I think I was, when I was writing a message just the other day, I was like saying, I would invite someone over, but it's British Indian curry or British Indian dalam, British Indian. It's not the same as Punjabi, because when you go over there, the masala, from the way the jar's made,
Oh, the cheese is the best.
made jar in there, tea,
Yeah.
there you
Jar, sorry, the jar is amazing.
the-
Masala wali jar, where first thing in the morning, you get your tea.
Oh, and also when we went to go away, I remember we were there for a week and we stayed at a hotel. They obviously done buffet meals and they try to cater, the hotels do, mainly for people who are foreigners.
Yeah.
So all their dishes were like that. I was the only person, I mean the manager was amazing because I spoke to him, I said, I don't want to eat all this, like, you know, I've come here to eat our food. I mean, I think it was only one day that they were going to do Bronte, and the rest of it was more or less all the things that they know that people from outside are going to eat. And I said, but I don't want to do that. I just want Indian food. And he just came up to me and he said to one of the staff members, he said, give him whatever he wants every morning, like whichever Bronte he wants to eat, make it for him with the jar and stuff like that. But he said to me, he goes, if anyone asks you, just say that you paid extra to like do it, because it's something that they can't. So
they really looked after us, which brings me to saying that there was something that they made there in Goa for them. It was just one of them on the menus, and up until now, I've tried to Google it, see what it is, but all I know, it was like broccoli kind of I don't know if it was like a dal. It was just so nice, dal sabji thing. It was runny. It was in some kind of creamy, white, milky. I don't know what it was, but it was absolutely beautiful. And never been able to find the ingredient. I don't know. Just don't know what it was called. So I could look it up to make it.
Gotta go back to Goa to check it out.
It's so beautiful. So if any of you know of a broccoli kind of curry in India, it was in Goa. It was just broccoli and creamy broccoli. If you know what it's called, you know the recipe, let me know that below as well, because I've been researching it for years on it.
The other thing I was going to say was, if, like I said, there's several of these places we would love to visit, and we're hoping that this channel and everyone else is support us. It's not about what everyone else thinks, it's about this, that and the other. It's about connecting with people, connecting with our roots, connecting with languages, and like I said, people from places in India that we've not come across. I mean, certain people from South India, there isn't many in the UK
and
that
also because our parents, like you said before, they don't know much either, do they? No. They don't know much
but
about this place,
they
can't ask them either, and they've been out of the country for so many years themselves, and when we can't...
But they just take you to the same place, and you go again, and it's like you same place. But what I was trying to say is there's not many people, like, you know, I would love to travel to other places in and around India, so it would be nice, like, you know, and I'll hopefully get to like meet people that, you know, watch our channel and stuff like that, so we don't feel like we are outsiders, or we feel like, you know, we don't know where to go, who to meet. That, you know, that's the family that we get to meet, people that, you know, who see us and they know us, and, you know, have a cup of tea, or have some jar, have some, you know, something, someone or people recommend what foods for us to try and, you know, enjoy that we've not even, you know, had the chance to do here or whatever kind of thing. Yes. Know what it's called, you know, how it's made, you know, that side of it. And find that love in everyone, like, you know, that's what I sort of want. And like I said, it's, again, I'm going to say with this channel, that's the dream basically. It's about working with the best, but it's also about meeting people that we can connect to and learn things from, and, you know, look forward to meeting and seeing. Definitely. It's all that.
And you're saying, because he's saying this, I just remembered, or I didn't remember, I was going to say at the beginning, but this is probably the best time to say this. But I just want to say a big shout out to one of our first on Patreon, and his name is Data. So I just want to say thank you so much for signing up to us. And also, I just want to tell you a little bit about him, because he was one of the first on our Instagram, and I've got to become friends with him. I don't know, he signed up, and for something his profile picture, just like, I need to have a look at this guy's profile. So we're talking about food now. This is why I want to bring him up, because the guy loves food and I love food, and he loves cocktails. He seems to be drinking cocktails all the time wherever he goes, but it's the food, the cocktails, he goes out. So we really will get on if we meet. And his profile
pictures are really good.
His pictures are so good. There's one that I absolutely loved, and I showed my daughters. I was like, you need to see this. This guy looks like a great person to hang out with, a cool guy, and he's also funny. And so I want to say thank you so much for supporting us.
And he's the kind of guy that would love to like meet, because he would basically be able to go, because when you look at his pictures and you look at his stuff, you're thinking, I want to hang out with him and eat where he's eating and go to the places where he's going. I've
said this to him, I've had random chats with him here or there, but sometimes it's like, I could be out, this is a few weeks ago, I was out, and he'll just send me a post of what he's eating. I'm like, don't do this to me, when, you know what, no, I'm hungry, this is not good. And everything he eats is just looks amazing. So we have this banter. But we're shocked that he actually signed up, because he didn't tell us. And when I found out, I went, oh, Okay, that's
Because it
actually
came up and I said it, and he's our first, so we're not going to forget
Thank you. We're not going to forget
And I
never.
did say,
No, I'm
I did
definitely going to meet up with him.
I did message you and say won't ever forget you, and definitely we come to India, we come to wherever you're staying.
They're
kind
taking
of
me
thing.
out for food.
We will be like meeting up. We'll make sure we'll arrange something because that will be an honour to do so. And you know, and if there's anyone else who wants to join our Patreon site, then there's a link below in the description. Just click on it, and you know, if you want to support us or be part of the journey, part of the family, we'll appreciate it.
Cocktails all round, Dada. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, make sure you got the list of all the restaurants and places that you're going to take us. Or not only that, that beer as well. You know, I'm happy to sit wherever. So anyway, guys, that was the video. Tell us what you think, and hopefully you like it. Make sure you click on the thumbs up button, share it with people you know, and as always, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Give us your love, give us your support, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next
Take
one.
care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.